Hello, I'm Pastor Marvin McKenzie from Bible Baptist Church in Puyallup, Washington. Welcome to today's Daily Visit with God. Today we're going to be in Genesis in chapter 13, verse number 1. The Bible says, "And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south." So this is an interesting thing. He says he went up into the south. He went north from Egypt into the promised land, and that was up. Going south was up. So Abraham had been in Egypt, and he traveled north to reach the promised land. It's called the south here because he entered into the southern part of it. And here's the one of the lessons that we learn is that the reference point of the Bible is the promised land, and it's not Egypt. The starting place, the working point is not Egypt. It is the promised land. Later, that working point, that reference, will narrow more specifically to Jerusalem, and then it'll narrow even more specifically down to the temple that's there. Today, the temple has been replaced, not as some falsely believe by our bodies, but by the local church. And the lesson is that the church, which God places us as members of, ought to become really the working point or the reference point for every aspect of our lives. When we're away, we are away from our church. When we return, we ought to return towards our church. As we consider a move, for instance, consider how it'll impact our church or our relationship with that church. It is the church Jesus gave himself for. It is the church that Jesus will present to himself without spot or blemish. It is the church which must be the balance upon which all that is our lives rests.